You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, Wole, Mo, and Glen are your hosts. Ray Jeezy is out. What is good, fellas?
Nothing much. We're getting closer and closer to the start of training camp. We're about, as we record this, about 15 days away, 2 weeks away. So, hey, we're excited about what is getting. I'm excited. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm excited. I'm excited about the football season. I'm excited about this Commanders team. If Ray was here, I think I'm starting to drink that water.
Hey, what were you saying, Mo?
I'm about to say, you can speak for all of us, man. It's that lull period, that them dog days of summer right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I feel like, regardless of who you root for, July like sets it up. Like, all right, football season's right here. Like, we about to get training camp. We about to get all types of stories. You know what I mean? You get some training camp signings. You get the first preseason game comes like that. It's exciting, man. It really is. Like, when football. I mean, all sports are great. Like, I love all sports. I love baseball, like basketball. You know what I mean? I like, tennis, whatever. I like like a lot of sports, but ain't nothing like football, bro. Like, I love playing basketball, but football. If you told me when I'm gonna watch football, basketball, I'm gonna watch football game 24/7. Can't tell me anything different.
Oh, yeah, all day.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also tweet us at ABGE_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Anyway, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll debate Washington whether Washington has the best wide receiving core in the NFC East. Let's get right into it. Terry McLaurin is back. Washington drafted, talented Penn State wide receiver Jahan Dotson. Curtis Samuels looks healthy and talented. Second-year wide receiver Dyami Brown seems motivated for year two. Looking at the landscape of the NFC East, does Washington have the best wide receiving core in the NFC East? Hey, Mo, what you think, bruh? Like, I got you. Are you a realist? Because when you ain't a Washington fan, I get your real, genuine opinion.
This is a tough one. And I think it was very, very close, and I'll tell you why later. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
It's fair. That's fair.
I'm going to go with the Eagles for one reason as to who is proven that's on the roster, right? Mm-hmm. AJ Brown coming off a down year, but we know he's had a Pro Bowl year and 2 1,000-yard receiving years before his big contract this offseason. Mm-hmm. He's been one of those guys that's been ranked in the top 10, top 12 receivers going into a season already, even though he's coming off a down year yet last year where he got hurt and he missed a couple of games. So him being the catalyst and the focal point of that offense, I think that's a strong start there. They have Heisman, my guy, Devonte Smith.
Yeah, that's the one that puts it over the top.
I think he's the one that gives them the edge because as a rookie, he came in last year, had 916 yards, 5 touchdowns. A solid average on the catches. And we know what his ability dictates he's going to be, right? We already know. We know that coming into last year, getting past the rookie wall and then also playing with a quarterback that is great. This attribute is not throwing the football. I think was a little bit of a holdback there last year, right? And Philly just couldn't quite get everything rolling on offense, whether it was injuries or, some things happening systemically in their team. They rounded off with Quez Watkins and Greg Ward. They had Jalen Reagor still on the roster, former first rounder who hasn't quite panned out, but he has elite speed out of TCU. I think they're giving it one last ditch effort with him. And seeing what he can do. I know he has punt return capabilities and kickoff ability also. And then you round it out. They brought in this offseason. They brought in Zach Pascal, a local talent from Wise High School, and went to ODU with Taylor Heineke down there. So I think they have the most well-rounded wide receiver group. I do not think they have the best wide receiver, though. I'll save that for later.
Okay. Glenn.
It was close for me as well, man. I looked at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm like, they're tight, they're tough, for all the reasons that Mo just said. I will say this before I go into it. If Amari Cooper had not left the Dallas Cowboys,
it'd definitely be Dallas. It wasn't Amari Cooper. I agree.
If Amari Cooper had not left the Dallas Cowboys, I was going to say the Dallas
hands
Cowboys.
down. That's a big hit.
Hands down, I would say Dallas Cowboys. But when Amari Cooper gone, he was majority of their offense, right? Dallas has just taken a seat back as far as wide receivers, right? Yes. I think this Washington team, I'm going to say Philadelphia, right? But this Washington team is very close. And the reason close second, the reason I get Philly because those guys are proven, and we still have some question marks. There's still some question marks on this Washington Commander team, right? Because we're talking about Cam Sims. Let's be honest, Cam Sims is still a question mark, right? Dahami Brown is still a question mark, even though we like him, right? But we didn't see him much in the offense scheme to do enough, right? Curtis Samuel, believe it or not, is still a question mark with this Washington Commander offense.
He's always a question mark, but
right. But he's always a question mark, but definitely a question mark this year. Can that guy we're not going to mention get him into the scheme of things to make him a top receiver, right? And then you go to we already know what Terry McLaurin is, right? To this offense, right? And then you bring in the rookie, right? Dotson. So now we looking at him like, okay, what can you add to this team? There's some people that got to step up on this Washington receiving core, right? Can this Washington receiving core, if it's done correctly, right, could have 3 1,000-yard receivers.
Which one? What's the third one?
Oh, McLaurin, right?
No. You got McLaurin. I know McLaurin definitely 1,000. I feel like it's that. McLaurin, it should be. I'm saying I say definitely. It should be. McLaurin, Jahan could be definitely. Who's the third? Who you got third?
I think Cam Sims could be.
Oh, you think Cam Sims could be? Oh man. Oh God.
I think Cam Sims could be. I'm gonna tell you why I think Cam could be, right?
Okay, no, this is good. This is good. This is what I like to hear. I like to hear some different ideas. Go ahead.
Cam got some money, right? He got to prove why they gave him this money.
Yeah.
Right? You got to prove why he gave him this money. And he has a quarterback that can get him to split the field. Because you think about it, Terry McLaurin, Jahan, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going towards them. Cam will be on one-on-one, and he's a big guy. He's a big receiver.
Carson likes big guys.
Right? Carson likes big guys. Carson likes tight ends. So if Carson get Cam the ball on one-on-one situations, and Cam being big against the smaller corners, which he will face some this year, he'll be able to get some explosive plays where he'll get 60-yard, 70-yard receptions. And I think he could be anywhere between 900 yards to 1,000-yard receiver this year. And this could be a breakout season for Cam Sims.
Okay. Well,
I'm with you. So
give us your answer.
Okay, so mine would be like the Eagles were in Washington were close. I actually have respect for the Giants, but it's always about the passing. I like Galloway. I mean Galladay. It's Galladay. Sorry, I like Galladay. And
I like to be peaceful.
Y'all still got Shepard too. Y'all still got Shepard, right?
Wole, we'll get to those guys.
Okay, so let me, but it's okay though. But I feel like they should get some respect. That's what I'm saying. They should get some respect. It's just who's throwing the football. Just like the same thing Washington had issues with. But
it's them.
I'm gonna go with for this argument. I'm gonna go with Washington only because like the depth. I like the depth that they have within their core. You know what I mean? And it's all about potential because I feel like. And the thing is, the fair thing I wish I could have done is also is to bring in like an Eagles like personality, right? Because every fan or every person in their community, when like you're listening to reports about the wide receivers and how they gotten better, like a Jahan Dotson or whatever. I'm sure in Philadelphia there's probably a wide receiver, maybe not a top, the top pick or like Smith or whatever, but there's somebody they're really high on, right? Maybe like you mentioned Rager, right? Maybe Rager got better. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks better in camp. And now they're feeling like they have high hopes for him. But the reason why I'm gonna go, with this route is because you got Terry McLaurin, limited wide receiver. We all know limited quarterback play has an opportunity to put up better numbers with this quarterback. So the numbers should be a little bit better. Jahan Dotson, from what Mo, we all talk about route running, a route runner, right? So that's something that you value. I feel like if you're a wide receiver, if you're a quarterback, you're going to be in love with a wide receiver like that. Those wide receivers are always going to be complicated to check because they're not one-dimensional, right? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're fast with it, right? You're not one-dimensional. So it gives you you're a dual threat. I am a fan. You mentioned Cam Sims. I'm not a Cam Sims dude, but I do think Diami has an opportunity to flourish because of the other two dudes. You know what I mean? Because you can do so much with the other two dudes in terms of, the interchangeable, how you went. Sometimes you may want to have one outside, one inside, and then you can have Diami outside and get one-on-one coverage. So having the opportunity to catch those contested footballs, because in North Carolina, he was able to do that. Now he's going to have that opportunity with a freestyle quarterback like with Carson Wentz to get those type of plays. But now he's going to have freestyle plays where he's going to be able to play that backyard football, right? So you're going to have Diami have an advantage with that. And then you mentioned, there's a Carson Wentz. And then there's also Curtis Samuel, where you don't have to lean on as, being your number two guy. If it's coached correctly, I know, Mo, you talk about money and you're going to have to force that dude in there. But we're talking about if it's coached correctly. If we're looking at just forget the money. But if we're coaching this team and looking at it for what it is, now, don't put pressure on him. Have him on special packages and let him do what he does. And if he gets yardage that way, almost like how the Minnesota Vikings didn't put pressure on Percy Harvin to be like a 1,000-yard receiver. It was like, yo, we just gonna give you the ball and let you do what you can do. Get us yards, get us plays to win games. And that's all it was. So if it's utilized that way.
Caliber player though, baby.
Huh?
That's a different caliber of player.
Oh, no. You know what I mean, though. I'm not talking about, he ain't Percy Harvin. You know what I'm talking about. Like, that Percy Harvin's a dog. He was tough as nails. But if you utilize him that way in terms of just saying, I'm not worried about you getting past receptions. I'm worried about finding you just getting the ball in your hands, just get touches. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could work. And then you mentioned Cam Sims on the flip side, who's has show flashes. He can be a dude that you can get some red zone opportunity touchdowns. So I just think like every wide receiver has a niche on this roster that can do things that can help you be successful and help your offense. It's still like I'm going to say this: the going piece is always going to be Terry McLaurin, because you're going to need Terry McLaurin to bring the attention. You always need that one to bring the attention. And then hopefully it works out. But go ahead, Mo. I know you want to say something.
I think speaking of Terry, I'll tell you why I had the Commanders in a tie for second, because I still couldn't figure between them and Dallas. I'll tell you why.
All right. Mm-hmm.
I can only go off of what we've seen.
Yeah, of course. That's fair.
Okay, and based off of what we've seen, I think Terry's the best pure receiver in the entire
NFC East
division.
Yeah.
NFC East, hands down.
Okay.
Even better than A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown was a key part of an offense that was built around play action passing.
Henry.
And having the best running back in the league for the past 3 seasons in the backfield. Yeah. The one year that running back was hurt, Derrick Henry, and did not, even though he was leading the league at the pace he was, that's the year that AJ's stats went down and his injury woes started to show. So I don't know if that's coincidental or whatnot, but I'm just going to go with the facts, right? I'm going to go with the facts there. Looking at this team, how the Commanders are comprised, Jahan hasn't had an NFL catch yet. Yeah. Curtis Samuel had 6 catches for 27 yards last year. Diami had 12 catches for 165. Cam Sims had 15 for 211 yards. And Harmon wasn't on the roster last year. And I don't think Millie caught a ball last year. So we're looking at that.
No, he caught a ball. He caught Max Mill for Washington, for BY. He caught a ball. He caught a few. Actually, got more playing. He had more catches and grabs than he got more burn than I even wanted. He got burned. Yeah.
If we're leaving it strictly to the wide receivers, then that's why I was in that conundrum. But if we add a tight end in there, I think Washington is supplanted in 2.
Oh, so you're talking about pass catchers, like
pass catchers.
Yeah, if we throw the tight end, running back. You're talking about tight end. I got you. I want you. Go ahead, continue.
And we have to throw in J.D. McKissick back there.
You want to add that in too? Okay, well,
I did that first.
Okay,
I didn't at first.
Tight ends. We talk about tight ends. I give it to Dallas, man. Because Schultz is a good tight end for Dallas.
Whoa! If we're going tight ends, the Eagles got it. Dallas Goedert is the best tight end in the division. He's the best tight end in the division, and they have AJ Brown and Heisman.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Dallas Goedert the best. Yeah, that's the best.
Dallas. My problem with Dallas is CeeDee Lamb was a slot receiver last year.
Yeah.
He has to move to the outside, play primarily number one, even though he has the best quarterback in the division.
Yes.
See, I didn't want to factor in quarterback play in it. I just wanted to factor in what we've seen them do.
Yeah. But I will say this, even that though, you're right. He does have the best quarterback play in the division. And I don't want to get into the quarterback, but you're right though. But I will say this, and we mentioned this with I'm glad that we mentioned Amari. You look at the stats with that quarterback with Amari and without Amari, it's totally different. He's totally two different people, bro. If we're talking about track record, he's two totally different people.
I think Amari Cooper's value, his impact was undervalued.
Yes.
Because he's not a 1,500-yard wide receiver. He's steady Eddie. He's going to catch 70 to 90 passes. He's going to have 1,100 yards. He's going to have somewhere around 8 to 10 touchdowns. And that's a solid guy that you can go to. He runs all the routes. His hands are good, all of that. Now you have the playmakers on the outside of him, with Gallup being a good 50-50 ball guy. And then CeeDee Lamb,
who's coming off an injury.
Who's coming off an injury, right? Right, coming off of ACL last year.
Yes, last year.
So
you're not even getting a real Gallup.
Right. So then when CeeDee Lamb stepped up to the fray last year, it was incumbent that he become a 1,000-yard wide receiver because of all the looks that were going off of him and that were given to the others on the outside, and the rise of Schultz down the middle, right? But we already know that CeeDee Lamb has the individual skill set that is top 3 in this division. That is top 3 in this division in terms of wide receiver. I think it's Terry. I think Terry's number 1, and then whoever you pick in number 2 with AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb, I'll let you rock. I mean, either way, I'll take your argument and whatnot. I think AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb are the only 2 that have legitimate Pro Bowl candidacy up to this point. I know we talked about Terry being a Pro Bowler 1 or 2 shows ago, but he's not officially slated as a Pro Bowler because he didn't play in the game. Yeah. Right. So even though we know that
that's a whole different.
I mean, I know that voting gets real finicky, right?
Yeah, and especially when you play. If you play on
the Commanders,
go ahead, Mom. I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mom.
When I look at the Commanders, there's just a lot of unknowns. You know what I mean? When I look at the Commanders, it's just a lot of unknowns. Philly has the most proven guys. Dallas may have the most individually talented guy, but then after him, Gallup coming off an injury, they got James Washington, Noah Brown, they got Jalen Tolbert. These are guys. I mean, James Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Noah Brown, and Semi Fehiko. I don't think anybody's losing any sleep over them. And I think James Washington underperformed in Pittsburgh. Yes. With Ben Roethlisberger and that litany of receivers around him, and I think he had more than ample. I think he dates back to the AB days, right? He dates back to Antonio Brown days. So I don't see that improving in Dallas, is what I'm gonna say, right? I don't see that improving in Dallas.
One thing about Jalen Talbot from South Alabama, right? He has some good hands, right? He runs decent routes. He could be that rookie they need. They picked him. I think they picked him with second round, something like that, second or third round. But he has good hands. He has showed flashes of what he can do. Now, I'm not saying he is going to be a world beater, but he could fulfill that role of But we know that with Dallas, it has to be a running game, right? Because they want to run the football. They want to run the ball with Zeke. They want to run with Pollard. One thing about they're going to miss from Amari Cooper is during that 3rd down or 4th down situations, he was the one that extended drives. Exactly. He was the one that extended drives and made drives go on because he was a safety valve for Dak Prescott, and he knew where Amari Cooper would make a toe grab catch on the sideline. He'll make one over 2 guys. He made sure that he had the possession ball. CeeDee Lamb haven't proved that he's able to do that yet, and that's what we're looking for. That's what the Commanders are looking for. Can Jaheim, can Terry, can Cam Sims, can Dahami become that cohesive group? And there's a picture out there this week with Carson Wentz already working out with those guys. They was all together.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't get the pictures, but yeah, I saw that.
But I mean, I'm just saying. We're talking about wide receivers, right? And what it takes for them to be the best group. That off-season stuff, that is not.
Well, no, it does. I agree with you.
Sitting there watching film, mandatory for them to get on the same page. Remember, he missed some time with. He has missed some time with Terry because some of the OTAs and the mini camps and all that type of stuff. So to be able to get that time back, and for him, let's be honest, Carson Wentz is a leader, right? He's been in a Super Bowl type atmosphere, right? He brings some type of leadership. This is the best leading quarterback that this group has had.
Yeah,
coming
I mean, he's
into
been to a Super Bowl. I mean, he's been there to view it. Yes.
No. Before he got hurt, he took that team.
No. Yes, he did. No. Don't get twisted. Like that year he was special that year. Like that's why I like Carson Wentz. Like I don't want to, and I'm not gonna make this a quarterback show and Carson Wentz, but I like Carson Wentz. I agree with you.
I think the Commanders. I think what we want to say about the Commanders is they have the most talented bunch.
I think it's a whole. Like as a whole,
yeah, they have the most talented
talent.
bunch.
Like there's a lot of talent. These are guys that can produce as a whole, and I feel like with Mo is saying, the unknown is just that it's unknown because you don't really know the capability of the others. Like you know the capability of Terry, but the others, and you feel like it's hard to tell because who they had to who threw him the football, right?
Who threw him the football and who's calling the plays?
Who's calling the plays? To keep it a buck. So
that's
now you have an opportunity.
You know what offensive coordinator you're going to get. You can make it an offensive coordinator. He has this talented group. He want to run the football.
Yeah. So, but he's not gonna run it with this group. Some people
not
gonna run it with this group.
Not in this day and age. Not in this day and age. That OC will be out here in a heartbeat. If you come to this team with these 4 receivers and you decide you want to ground and pound, I think you'll be out of time.
Yeah. So I think with this group, he's definitely gonna throw the football. But
I'll tell you who it's not.
What's up?
I'll tell you the group that it's not.
Go ahead, bro.
It's not that team up in New York. I'll tell you. Kenny Golladay is coming off a 2 year. Kenny Golladay is coming off of 2 years in which he hasn't had 1,000 yards in the last 19 games he's played. Okay, I'm talking about he played 5 games in Detroit, then he was out for the rest of the year. Last year he came and whatever connection was not being made. I think he was still feeling the ill effects of the hip surgery when he came, even though he signed that big contract for $70+ million. You got Sterling Shepard, who hasn't finished the season since 2018. They had an opportunity to let him go and an opportunity to let him walk, and they gave him a pay cut instead of letting him walk. After drafting,
let me add this real quick about Sterling Shepard, which is not healing well.
It's not healing well. Nothing on him has healed well in the last 3 years. He gets a big case of headaches once or twice a year, because he's a small guy playing in that slot, even though he has a little bit of girth to him, he's getting rocked down there. Quarterback play has not been the best for him. Don't get me wrong. Eli was declining. Geno Smith for the 1 game that he started. And then you're talking about Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones, Jake Fromm last year, Colt McCoy a couple of games. Like it's been a bad carousel since Eli left.
Bad ones too.
Listen, I know you all know all about it, right? Then you go, the Giants already made a fundamentally bad decision last draft by drafting Kadarius Toney when Shepard was already on the team. That's why they didn't have to cut Golden Tate, because they had 3 slot receivers occupying the same place with the same skill set. Doesn't make sense. They don't have an outside receiver on outside. Derrick Slayton came in as a rookie, 6th rounder that nobody expected, had 700-yard season. As soon as expectations came, he replicated it a little bit the second year, but it wasn't as impactful in the last year. He just fell off the horse. 300 yards. I remember vividly him dropping a wide open touchdown against the Washington football team that would have won the game.
Yeah. Remember that play.
So don't get me started. Even though he has 4.3 speed, he's 6'1". He seems to have alligator arms and things of that nature. It's not. Then they draft Wandel out of Kentucky this year. Another receiver in the top 2 rounds for the last 3 drafts or so, that he's diminutive. Once again, another Smurf. They wear blue, so I'm gonna call them the Smurfs. Right? Glen, this guy is 5'9". When's the last time we seen a 5'8", 5'9" receiver dominating the league as a top pick? Steve Smith, but he wasn't a top pick.
I was going to say Darren Sproles, but he wasn't a top pick neither. So.
He's a running back.
Yeah. Right.
They don't make Steve Smiths no more. Nobody drafts Steve Smith diminutive size wide receivers no more, and for good reason. Because quarterbacks aren't as accurate. So when that 50-50 ball goes up, you need to be able to have ability to go get it. And you're talking about a Daniel Jones throwing you the football. This is why those guys in blue, as much as I love them, cannot be in this conversation.
All right, well, they're not demo because the quarterback, we're not putting it in the conversation. So we asked this question. We asked our followers on Twitter, Facebook, and IG about who they think has the best receiving core in the NFC East. My man George on Facebook posted Terry is great, but no one else has proven anything. Even without Cooper, it's still the Cowboys.
Ooh, just Gallup.
See, I don't think Dallas is in this discussion for real, to be honest with you. There's no knock.
No.
I know even without Cooper, and you're gonna say, oh, we can subtract Cooper, but even that, you're just only gonna have CeeDee Lamb. Like, to be honest with you, because Gallup is a good number two. Michael Gallup is out with ACL. That's going to hinder him. He's not proven to a point where you can say that he can be the same Michael Gallup after an ACL. You know what I'm saying?
He already wasn't great before.
Yeah, he already wasn't exactly. He wasn't great. That's why it's just the same thing when folks talk about, well, Washington has a bunch of weapons. They have Logan Thomas. I don't mention Logan Thomas. It's not because he didn't play well. He's coming off an ACL. Like, I know. We all have to always include that type of caveat if somebody's coming off a major injury. They're not always the same person. If that's the case, Robert Griffin III would still probably be the quarterback for the Washington Redskins Commanders or whatever. So, yeah, when you're coming off an ACL.
Redskins through the Commanders, right? Redskins through the Commanders.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, so
right.
When you say ACL, like, you can't just say they have the best. It don't work that way. You got to take it in for what it is. But, I feel like it's all about potential, right? This whole discussion is all about potential, and it's what it's what we
could be
in terms of what we saw from these individuals. Other than scary Terry, it's what we've seen from these individuals because we all watch football from we've seen in college. Because a lot of these dudes, we've kind of like the reason why we think they're so talented is college. To be honest with you, when we talk about De'Ami Brown, it's because of college. Yeah, when we talk about Jahan Dotson, it's because of college. When you talk about, Cam Simmons is because he kind of made some flash plays in the regular season and playoff games, but that's flash plays. But we're talking about dogs, right? Consistent dogs. What we've seen from these dudes that we're talking about, like De'Ami and Jahan Dotson, is because in your situation, like other than like we could say that North Carolina had like a quarterback because he now plays for the Washington Commanders and how, but when you look at what Jahan had to deal with at Penn State, dudes, you ain't had quarterbacks throwing the ball that was vicious, and you were still putting up numbers in the Big Ten with wide receivers from Ohio State that were probably some of the guys that are like supposed to be more talented. Well, we're supposed to be ultra talented. You put up numbers just to match them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that one dude.
Yeah, one guy went ahead of him in the draft, the other one went right behind him.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, if you keep it a buck, like, all right. So when you look at that in terms of potential, you're like, all right, well, this team matched with Scary. You think of it like a football. You think of it like a coach. Scary is going to get them. He's going to demand double teams. So that means that dude that had no quarterback in college is going to go one-on-one with a cornerback. He's a good route runner, and he had good hands in college. Automatically, your mind's going to be like, oh, he can win. Like he can win that because Scary's gonna get attention. So it kind of works that way. But back to the Eagles, the Eagles have a similar problem. It's not a similar problem, a similar situation where it comes to who's gonna throw in the football? Can you trust
the person throwing the football?
Yeah, you trust him. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you trust him?
The caveat for that is he's going to extend a lot of plays, which is going to bode well for A.J. Brown because A.J. Brown is a beast after he catches the football.
Yes.
Right? And I think him and Heisman had a good season, but they weren't on a complete page because Heisman is a route runner.
Yes.
So you have to be on time.
Yes. And right? They ran a lot of gimmick stuff with Heisman.
Right.
They ran a lot of gimmick stuff to give him the ball. It wasn't like keep catching this dude on stride. Like, it's different.
Exactly. And I think that's why they brought in A.J. Brown, because he's a dynamic playmaker. He's not an excellent route runner. He's just a big physical presence and body that gets to a spot. And the 50-50 contested ball, he'll go up for that. And after that, it's a tough assignment to tackle him at 225 pounds.
Yes.
Running down the field as fast as he can.
But also, you got to look at Jalen Hurts, too, the quarterback throwing the ball. I know it's not a quarterback discussion, right? He did improve, right, over his first season.
Improve?
Yeah, he had 3,000 yards. The man had 3,000 yards. I believe.
In today's NFL, everybody can throw for Taylor Heineke.
What I'm saying was he made the Philadelphia receivers better than they were, right? And when you add A.J. Brown, and you add a Smith who's going into a second season, that means they're going to be better. With the running game that they have, we talked about
running game, man. They do have a running game.
Play action earlier. With the running game that they have, they'll see a lot of man-to-man, 8 guys in the box type thing to stop the running game. So they'll get a lot.
I don't know if they'll see 8 guys. I think that's why their running game is so good, because I don't feel like they space 8-man boxes.
They space out. They're all in. Like they're always in spread. They're in spread.
Yeah, they don't have a single individual running back that will make a defense want to do something. As much as I like Miles Sanders he's often hurt.
Yeah,
he doesn't run that well between the tackles as he should, especially in the league. And Boston Scott and all, they have a litany of running backs that always come in. Who's the kid? Smallwood. They have Boston Scott. So I think in totality, their run game is strong, because then Jalen Hurts does add extra pressure on the defense with his legs.
He does.
Right. I think that's the thing. That's what it is. It's the combination of Jalen Hurts and the running backs like Boston Scott and also
you'll get some single receiver
Sanders,
single corner, single receiver routes, and where you get slants, so you get some big balls. He'll be able to extend once again when the comeback routes or the scramble drills, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
Where he's scrambling and receiver gets find a hole and gets open. Those are going to be big plays for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And
it also depends.
Well, Washington, the team is just the guys that the Commanders are counting on. I think Wole, you said it, are just not proven yet, right?
Yeah.
They just haven't proven anything. Terry's a proven one that had potential. We just need to see that potential.
Yeah, and
need to see the potential come up.
And to be honest with you, most of them ain't proven, but nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like even the Eagles, other than, I mean, be fair, Smith is proven because he got.
They have two proven commodities. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Being real, like and Brown. That's what I'm saying. Both of them, they are 2 proven commodities. Like that's true. They are.
And Rager ain't figured it out yet, but Greg Ward was pretty decent in the slot 2 seasons ago when they were competing with y'all for the division. The year you guys made it to the playoffs, and then somehow, some way, they just got away from trying to help him elevate.
Yeah,
and started looking at Jalen Rager because he was a first-round draft pick.
You talking about Rager? You said Rager, right? You talking about Rager?
Right.
I just think that I don't blame Rager. I just think that it's a different quarterback throwing the football. Early, I just feel like Rager. I think it's easier. Like what Rager brings to the table, you're just it is what it is, bro. Like let's keep it a buck. If you watch the Eagles play football, you've seen it. Like it's all a lot of it's predicated on Jalen last year. Like Jalen has gotten better. I'm not knocking Jalen Hurts. He's gotten better. But a lot of that stuff is predicated off his legs and what he can do off scramble drills, like what Glen is talking about. And sometimes, Rager could be open early. And if you all watch games, sometimes he overthrows them. That's an accuracy issue. And you said it, Mo, like, what do you need? Tall receivers are for what? Unaccurate. So for quarterbacks who aren't accurate. Rager's fast. What is Rager's height? What's Rager's height?
6 foot, 6'1"?
Yeah, he's still
6 foot, 6'1".
He ain't a giant.
He's not a giant.
Yes, and so it's not like it's not like it's Patrick Mahomes throwing to him where what I'm saying. So it's different. Right. It's just different. So I just feel like he ain't gonna be the best. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be the best, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but I
think there's talent there though. I think he has a lot of speed, but Jalen Rager's problem is making sure that ball is caught before he turns up the field. And Jalen Rager stands at 6 foot 197. So we're talking about you have to be precise, right? Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have a dog mentality where you go get that. And he hasn't proven that he can go get that in the league. I don't even think he showed that in college. I think his best attribute in college was just beating the defense. Yeah. And in beating the defense, once you're faster than everybody in college, it's a lot of space between you and the defender to make these deep ball catches. So I think that all plays a factor in it. I'm gonna have to go with Philly for the best group. I think Washington has the most potential. Dallas is in third because CeeDee Lamb is a one-man show right now. And the Giants are just at the bottom because even though they have some guys that have been in the league for some time, the last 2 seasons consecutively have just been the pits. So you have to update your resume every year, and everybody else's resume is getting a little better or have brought in talent that can that brings you some hope, like Jahan and Yami last year, but the Giants haven't done either. They haven't done neither of that. I mean, Tony came in, and for whatever reason that didn't work last year. Slayton he's regressed, and then Wandel Robinson this year we're going to find out about, but diminutive receiver playing a lot of snaps. I don't see too much of that in the league.
We're about to end the show. Before we end the show, I want to read one more Facebook comment. My man Dean Powell on Facebook said, "If so, then they need to go out and prove it, because everybody thinks that they're going to stink again. I think they are. I don't think they are, but still." Yeah, that's true. I feel like, a lot of people don't have faith in the team. So we'll see how it pans out, though. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also, tweet us at ABGE_Errrything, and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything, and like our All Burgundy and Gold Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Again, Mo, Glenn, and I, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces, a mega. Lead us out, big homie.